report came out yesterday from Shams Charania that LeBron James and Anthony Davis said they are putting some pressure on this Lakers organization to go out there and make some moves. That LeBron and AD, they think that, hey, maybe the Lakers are one move away or two moves away, and maybe that the addition of one more talented player could put them over the top in the Western Conference. Shams Charania, he wrote, with the February 6th trade deadline a little more than 2 weeks away, league sources told ESPN that James and Davis are growing concerned about the Lakers' ability to make significant roster upgrades with their two tradable first rounders. James, a four-time champion, and Davis, a one-time champ, have expressed that they want the franchise to make moves to contend for a championship, with the co-stars believing the Lakers are potentially a piece or two away, sources said. So essentially what this is your annual, the trade deadline is looming. Clutch Sports, LeBron James, they're making it known throughout the NBA world that they want Rob Pelinka to go out there and add any pieces. Does LeBron care about what this could mean for the Lakers franchise 5 to 10 years from now? No, he doesn't. And the only thing that's different about this time around is they've attached Anthony Davis to all that. But when you look at where the Lakers are sitting right now, you're about halfway through the season. You're at 23-18. You're the 6th seed in the Western Conference. And everyone talked about, oh, Darvin Ham, Mr. Hands in his pocket, he's the problem. Even though that team, you won the NBA Cup, you went to the Western Conference Finals, JJ Redick was seen as the next Pat Riley. Well, a year after that, the Lakers have improved very slightly. After 41 games, they're a game under 500. Now, in the history of the association, only one team that entered the postseason with the 6th seed won a championship. That was that 94-95 Houston Rocket team led by Hakeem Olajuwon, that MVP squad. But this is a different Lakers team. And the addition of Dorian Finney-Smith has certainly been good. I mean, it gives you a legit defender, someone that can hit threes. He just had a really nice game against the Wizards, 16 points. And look, that's great as an upgrade on the margins. But the truth of the matter is this team, as constructed, even with everyone healthy, they're not a legitimate contender in the Western Conference. They're not a team that you would pick, even if things click for LeBron and LeBron flips the switch in the playoffs, that you think could be a more young and athletic Thunder team. And when you look at where Anthony Davis is at in his career, when you look at where LeBron James is at in his career, look, my big issue with the Lakers right now is not that, oh, you're trying to establish a new foundation with a head coach that you think could be the guy for a long time in JJ Redick. I'm here for that. I'm here for organic rebuilding looking moves. But my issue with the Lakers is you're either all in or you're all out. Either you're going to trade away those first round picks. I'm going to give you 3 trades the Lakers could make in a second here. They could help AD and LeBron. You're either in or out. You're either, okay, we're willing to move those picks and we're going to just see if we can squeeze another title out of LeBron James and Anthony Davis, or the truth of the matter is the best thing to do would be to try to convince LeBron to want to get a trade or potentially move Anthony Davis. I look at a team like the Oklahoma City Thunder that have about 10,000 picks, and a Thunder team that's ready to win a title, but they're missing that veteran. What if the Thunder called you and offered you a bunch of picks? Would you take it? If you're the Lakers, if you're really serious about a rebuild, that's the thing. That's the thing we don't know about this Lakers organization, because LeBron James, he has a player option for next year. He's already made it very clear he wants to retire as a Laker. His son is on the Lakers. He, of course, Bronny James, in his talk to the Lakers, jersey number 9 has already generated $50 million for this league. So clearly it's a cash cow. But the question is LeBron going to want to make another deep run, make it very clear about it, or does he view everything that he does for the remainder of his career as extra credit? Because for the Lakers, it should always be about hanging banners. It should always be about how do we get to banner 18? And if we don't think this roster can hang banner 18, then what's the point? What are we doing here? You look at the history of this organization, we know that, look at the fans out there. Rob Pelinka sucks. Fire Rob Pelinka. Rob Lowe Pelinka is the worst GM in basketball, and he went a couple years without making a trade. Last time I checked, if you looked at this organization, it was LeBron James and Anthony Davis that were behind the worst move that this organization has made in the last 5 years, and that was to trade for Russell Westbrook. And now LeBron and AD want to put it on the organization and the GM to try to mortgage their future just to try to make them contenders now, when the truth is there's not a lot of pieces out there that can really make this team a legitimate contender, that can really put this team over the top. There's some fun pieces out there that can make this team more interesting. And if you get prime LeBron for a couple games this series and AD is the best player on the court, you could win a couple rounds in the playoffs, but it's not the old NBA. And trust me, I miss the old NBA. When Pau Gasol would get traded to the Lakers, when you would see 3-team deals random months of the season. I miss that version of the NBA. It's not a surprise that Woj retired when he did, because didn't have many big trades to break like he used to, right? I miss the old NBA. I miss the NBA jerseys with the graphics. Miss the old Pistons jerseys, the Hawks jerseys. Now all the minimalist stuff. The court's all minimalist. I mean, the Lakers jersey used to be gold. Now it's banana yellow. I miss that version of the NBA without the first apron, the second apron, and the new CBA that makes it more difficult to acquire talent. But right now, I think it's either one or two things. If you are the Lakers, you either are willing to make some trades that you're not going to be comfortable with, right? I mean, every trade's a risk. Every trade's a risk. And there's no perfect trade out there for the Lakers. Either you make those trades and say, let's see if we can just crack open this championship window and make one more run, or you have an honest conversation. You say, you know what? It's not about the LeBron farewell tour that we're going to cash in on. It's not the Bronny James. It's not all these other ulterior motives that make this organization money. If it's not about championships, it should not be front of mind for this organization. So I think this organization has to have a long, hard conversation with itself and determine if they truly want to go all in with their current group or be all out and try to make some moves. Because I got 3 trades. I'm going to run them by my guys here. I got Noel Sanchez, and you know J-Rob from episode 1. We got Noel Sanchez. He's my guy on my other show, but this guy is a big-time NBA fan. I mean, look, if you look at his logo, it has a basketball in it, yep. Right? So
you know the vibes, man. You know the vibes.
Now, I was talking to someone within the league today, and I come off as a Laker fan trying to convince them, hey, should the Lakers make a trade? And what I was told was this: no, this team has no chance, keep the picks. I was like, Bron and AD are not happy, though. You got to appease them. Right? Response: they should both be traded, but this team has no foresight whatsoever. Okay, that was for someone in the league that responded to me with that. But we did cook up some possible trades, and I kind of ran it by them. And here's one that I think in a perfect world fits with what the Lakers are trying to do. And that is, if you do trade the picks, you get guys that can help LeBron and AD now, but can also help AD and give you some continuity with JJ Redick, and you're still not seeing them as rental pieces. So will the Utah Jazz actually trade Walker Kessler? There's been reports that he's not going to be traded, but I think in a perfect world, Lakers get Colin Sexton, who's a lot closer to Anthony. No, I'm just playing. Colin Sexton and Walker Kessler, and the Jazz get Rui Hachimura, Jalen Hood-Schifino, Cam Reddish, the 2029 first-round pick, the 2031 first-round pick. So you're giving up 2 picks. And by the way, let me say this: a lot easier to acquire assets than it is to find AD and LeBron. So you give up the 2 picks. You're giving up a JHS who was a bust, Cam Reddish, reclamation project, whatever. Rui Hachimura under contract, but I think with Sexton, you get another guy who can create his own shot. That's something the Lakers have been missing. We're a guy that can give you that shot creation, someone that has improved from beyond the arc in the last couple seasons, averaging 41.6% on 4.6 attempts per game. That is nothing to sneeze at. And then Kessler really is the lesser name, but what makes this a more intriguing trade package in my estimation, because Kessler, he gives you that double big look that Anthony Davis has wanted for so many years, where you can play that power forward, where you have a true center, and he can also back up AD if you want to use him in that role. And then big thing too, the age. Sexton's somehow only 26. I feel like he was 25 for 4 years. He's been 26 for 2 years. He's been in this league forever. He's still young. Kessler's just 23. So you could get guys, put him with AD, put him with Dalton Connect, who has been slumping of late but has shown promise. Put him with Austin Reeves, who's on that short list of really great contracts that you're getting value out of at that position. And then with Utah, you get the valuable first-round picks, right? Those are the assets, and you just took one from Phoenix. So if you're going to go in that rebuild direction, it makes sense. But I'm going to ask you, Noel, grade that trade if you're the Lakers.
That's an interesting one right there because, I mean, you said it best. That Rui Hachimura deal, along with the Austin Reeves deal, those are two of the best budgets that you have right now in the NBA for their production, for their age, for the other salaries that the Lakers have. But, I mean, Walker Kessler is the guy that the Lakers have been looking at for a while. I've been seeing that they've called the Jazz a couple times, but the Jazz keep putting their price up pretty high. So I think minimum to get Kessler, you would have to swap out those two picks. I'm not the biggest fan of giving both of those for Walker Kessler. I know he's still young. I know that they will give Anthony Davis that second big man that everybody's been looking for. But I mean, playing on the Utah Jazz, that's the only team he's ever known. That's the only team that he's been on that actually has been in the league. And they don't have that winning culture there. He hasn't been able to be around guys that have been able to go far into the season, play with purpose when the January, February, March, April rolls around. So I think for that reason, I'm not the biggest fan of it. I'm also not the biggest Colin Sexton guy. I know, coming out of college, he had the motor, he was highly touted in high school, but I mean, when he was on the Cleveland Cavaliers, he was putting up numbers, didn't really translate to winning. Same thing with the Utah Jazz. Obviously, that team is a young team going through a rebuild. So I'm not too sure if those are two pieces that are going to take the Lakers over the top, put them with the likes of the OKC Thunder, take over the Denver Nuggets if they play them again. But I do see that it would make them marginally better, but I'm not the biggest fan of that trade package right there.
Fair enough. Now, J-Rob, I'm going to go to you. Put yourself in LeBron James' shoes, because we know that, like I've said, he's already beaten the video game. He's just playing again on story mode, right? He doesn't have anything to prove. He said himself it's all extra credit. Having said that, LeBron is someone who's very sensitive towards his legacy. And we know how Jordan's career ended with the Wizards. People don't remember that. People have very selective memories. And even though Jordan at 40 was still hooping for his age, people remember Michael's last shot against the Chicago Bulls when he was on the Bulls against the Jazz in Game 6, Byron Russell. I think there's a part of LeBron that would just love to win another championship somehow, some way. If he won a championship at this, I'm the biggest Michael Jordan fan on the planet, really. I mean, I'm a devout Jordan just crusader. But if LeBron James were to win a title and go through a competitive Western Conference and be the MVP on a team that wins the finals at age 40, then I'd be saying, you know what, biases aside, he's the GOAT. But if you're LeBron, I mean, where is your head at, knowing the roster you're at, and just kind of your message to the front office?
I think for LeBron, I think the issue is he's still on any given game, especially in the playoffs. He can be a top 5, top 7 player in the world when he's able to exert his best. He can turn into like that prime LeBron James still at this age at 40 years old. I think about if I'm LeBron, my thought process is I can still do this at a high level. Now, I can't go for 40 minutes straight. I need guys to come along for the ride. But that last quarter, I can give you everything I got and give you precious minutes. If I'm LeBron James, I'm still in pursuit of a 5th championship. And I'll be honest, Doug, Lakers fans are so spoiled, and it's actually ridiculous. The Lakers prior to 2020, when you guys won a championship, you weren't anything. You were still lingering from the ghost of Kobe in the building. You're waiting for a star. You're waiting for that Laker magic to come back. And LeBron James, he brought that to LA, brought a championship. And yeah, you could talk about the Russell Westbrook trade debacle, but I also remember that 2020 team that won a championship. Rob Pelinka broke that up. So I think it's responsibility and onus on everybody. And I think the biggest issue is, if I'm LeBron, I'm asking Rob, like, what are you waiting for? Are you still waiting for Rui to develop? Are you still waiting for Austin Reeves to be the 3rd star? I think Austin Reeves is a great above average role player. I think he's a legitimate starter. Do I think Rui Hachimura has the talent to be a 3rd star? Yeah, but is he that? I don't think so. And I think if I'm LeBron and I'm Anthony Davis, I have a window to maximize. And so I feel like I'm going into the front office asking to maximize that window. I still have 2 top 10 players on any given night on my team. I just need the role players around me to make that happen. And I mean, I still see a 2-year window to win a championship in Los Angeles.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it's this team as it stands, they're not going to win a championship. I just don't think that on their best day, this roster has enough wing depth, enough shooting. I mean, I think really if this team becomes a defensive first team, that's their path to success. But hey, this is the annual tradition, right? This is LeBron James doing what he does best at this time of year and trying to get more talent around him without considering how this will impact the organization. And I think it's been a little more overblown as far as how he's left his organizations. I mean, the Heat were fine pretty shortly after, the Cavs a couple years after. There's a contender, a good solid organization. I don't think that's necessarily the case, but the truth is your 2 best assets are the guys that co-signed the deal that has your franchise always behind, and that was AD and LeBron pushing for Russell Westbrook. That was an absolute failure. Okay, next trade. So that was trade 1. Next trade for my proposals is Jerami Grant and Toumani Camara. Now, pretty much Jerami Grant's the big one. I mean, Jerami Grant is someone the Lakers have had eyes on for years now, and in this deal, Lakers get Grant and Camara, and the Blazers get Hachimura, Gabe Vincent, Jared Vanderbilt, and the 2029 first-round pick. So you trade away Vando, but you trade Rui, you keep one of those picks. And look, I think it just comes down to what version of Jerami Grant do you think you're going to get? The one that is an above-average defender. He can shoot. He can shot create a little bit. And Kamara is someone that can be a wing defender too, that Vando, of course, at his best is superior from that standpoint. But I think this is a move that doesn't excite me as much, but I think the purpose of this exercise is to let you know that there's not a lot out there. But Noel, what do you grade that trade?
Jerami Grant is a guy too, Doug, that I've also liked and I've also wanted the Lakers to go after for a while. Loved them back in those OKC days, then moving over to the Denver Nuggets. And then since then, he's just been on teams that haven't been really doing much. He was on the Pistons, on the Trailblazers right now. I think in that sense, once again, giving up Rui Hachimura, it's kind of tricky there because they do a lot of similar things, especially now that Jerami Grant has been on teams that haven't been contending for too much. I think not getting a big man in that trade is definitely a little unpleasing there, but I say between the two, I like the other one better. Even though I wasn't the biggest fan of getting Walker Kessler, getting Colin Sexton, I think it would serve the Lakers better than getting another guy who they have Rui Hachimura already. You have Dorian Finney-Smith. You already have those wings that can do a couple of different things. And Jerami Grant, like I said, he's not that same elite wing defender that was helping teams deep into playoff runs. We haven't seen that from him in recent years.
Yeah, I think the counter to that is, could you get Vucevic somehow from the Bulls without having to give up one of the top picks, a second-round pick, maybe Rui and Gabe Vincent, something along those lines? That would be more of a move for the center spot. But the last trade is Brandon Ingram. Now, Brandon Ingram's a big major if when you look at the Pelicans dealing with the Lakers. Is that a move that they would strongly consider making? I mean, this is a move that would be out of just sheer desperation. This is the desperate move, considering you would be trading for a guy that you would have to extend. And that always is a death knell. But in this one, it would still cost you 1 first-round pick. The Lakers sent Rui Hachimura. I was kind of rude to get Rui Hachimura in these trade packages I was cooking. I was basically add Rui to all of them. Rui Hachimura, Gabe Vincent, Jared Vanderbilt, and the 2029 first-round pick. Now, there's just not been the level of buzz that you would expect from Brandon Ingram around the league. And if you're if you're the Pelicans, it's just like, look, the Zion thing, does this guy even like basketball? I mean, this guy has just been an absolute train wreck bust of a player that we thought was going to be the face of the league. And at this point, you're trying to get picks from that. And look, it's about getting shot creation and someone that you have some familiarity with that's had success within this organization. I'm not huge on the idea of getting BI. I like the idea of adding depth that helps AD get better down in the paint. But still, I mean, I know you're big on nostalgia, and I'm pretty sure you have your Brandon Ingram was the Lakers' purple side panel era.
No, he was our golden boy for a little bit. After we got him from Duke, he was just skinny wing scorer coming out.
Yeah.
We all remember seeing him come up, and unfortunately, that rookie season, we saw the growing pains there. He started coming up a little bit, but I think the thing that scares me the most was that fit with LeBron James that first year they played together. There was a big reason why they traded him to the Pelicans instead of Kyle Kuzma. And I know he's transcending his game a little bit more. He's had a lot more free reign in New Orleans. I'm the biggest nostalgia guy, Doug, but I'm gonna have to go with a big thumbs down on this trade package again. I don't want.
I don't want him back. You know,
I would say out of those former Lakers that have been linked, I would take Lonzo back, of course, a healthy Lonzo that is playing more than 23 games in like 3 years, or even a Kyle Kuzma. I know that he hasn't been the most motivated player out there in Washington. The numbers have dipped, but I mean, when you look at the skill set he still holds, I think I would take a Kuzma for the price too.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, those are definitely names that you feel better about. But like I said, does that, I mean, are you just rearranging the furniture on the Titanic, right? At that point. I think for me, it comes down to, like I said at the top, you're all in or you're all out.